Cooper, the house, Housley joins me, Power Slap, for the exclusive interview. Let's get into it, my man. We haven't spoken to you since that beautiful victory over Stevie Payne. How you been keeping?
I've been good, keeping busy between work and life, and just kind of keeping my head on a swivel, waiting on that call.
Yeah, I mean, call it fortunate or unfortunate. I mean, you're in the league, you're getting fights, but you've been on the tape fights up to date. It doesn't seem like there's enough people talking about you being 2-0, taking advantage of that beautiful slap. I know you got the bonus, so at least you got the money in your paycheck. But you feel any disrespect whatsoever that even, us at Slap News aren't giving you the credit that you probably deserve?
It's one of those things where, like, DQ wins are those wins that everyone's still kind of, like, iffy on.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, one of those wins is a DQ win. But that win with Stevie, what I hate when anyone tries to, like, talk down on him, because dude hits like a Mack truck.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to downplay that at all. Like, one of the things you hear me say to John, what you're going to hear later on is, fuck, I'm pretty sure he broke my nose.
Yeah, no, I actually thought John was actually great throughout the entire match, him coaching you along in the way. And, by the time it was all said and done, for a guy to get a KO victory, I'm not sure too many other people came out of their fights as battled and bruised as you did. I mean, if you looked at that still of you afterwards, you probably couldn't tell if you won or lost by just that photo alone. So, definitely Stevie gave you, some pretty good licks in that match for sure.
Oh yeah.
You want to talk through a little bit?
Oh yeah, I'd love to.
All right, man. I hope you can see it on your side. I know you're on your phone.
Gentlemen, to the center. You set your defense position. Waist touching, chin out. Can't lean against the table, though. All right. Chin out. Hold that position. Hand, count.
So,
right, three.
You can't help but notice.
Right hand on three. You must measure.
In physique between the two of them. Stevie Ray Payne said he's the most powerful heavyweight.
One.
And you see that. Get ready for this.
Two.
Right down!
Oh, Stevie Ray landed a big shot, but Cooper Housley, who moonlights as a professional wrestler on weekends, eats it.
Yeah, but he took a deep breath and go, whew. Okay. Stevie Ray Payne.
Good.
Maybe not the best slapper, big, strong, powerful guy.
You got 40 seconds right now, okay?
There's a lot of kickboxing,
get another couple deep breaths in you, go up there, flat feet.
There we go, my man. Let's talk about it a little bit. That right off the hop. You take that first strike. Went through your what went through your mind? I know Lorenzo obviously, and the DQ put you down, but how did those two compare, being hit from Lorenzo and being hit against Stevie?
Stevie hits significantly harder. Like, honestly, when I woke up from getting knocked out by Lorenzo, it was one of those things where, like, I expected, have a headache for a week or two, but I woke up and I was pretty good after I woke up. Stevie, he left my face pretty swollen, pretty bruised for a few days. That one, you can kind of tell he doesn't follow through all the way.
Yeah.
I'll be the first to admit, if he would have followed through on that, I was out. He rocked my world on that one.
Mm-hmm.
You see me stumble for a second just because he had me on skates.
Gotcha, my man. All right. So I had a little technical difficulty on the first time there. So I'm going to try to, I think I can still have you here now. Yeah, John Davis coaching you through here. Great.
Oh, he's incredible. I do not win this fight without him. That's like one of the more slept on parts of slap fighting is the actual coaching behind it, if you have a good coach. Stevie's a beast. I took my eyes off the target there. You see me, I come in low. Mm-hmm. I knew it. I threw it too. I went to walk back over because I pointed the chalk at his neck after, just because I knew as soon as I hit, I was like, oh yeah, that one's foul.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see Stevie on this one because he had a ton of confidence on this first strike, even though it was a foul. I know something very well, as we play the second strike, we'll watch the difference in the two. I mean, unfortunately, like you say, was off the target, but it does look like you did impact. I think there could be a bit of accumulation happening here as well. So we'll see it kind of go here. And as we keep on going, but I mean, phenomenal match back and forth, just thundering strikes, through and through.
Yeah, right there's where Bisping's like, he calls me a bitch here. I know that. He's like, "You want to club me, bitch?" Talking about Stevie's reaction to it.
Yeah.
No, I thought me and Mike were cool until I listened to the commentary for this fight.
Yeah, Mike says some pretty funny stuff. He gets going some nights for sure.
Oh yeah.
On Demon Time. That's phenomenal, Chin.
Yeah, after that one caught me a lot more flush, and like I said, I'm pretty sure I ended up breaking my nose on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And John, that's one of the things he's coaching through. He's telling me not to breathe through my nose. Don't try to blow my nose. Don't try to, just make sure taking deep breaths in and out of your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they don't bring him in for fights, there's not a better person on this roster when it comes to coaching than John Davis. I'll be the first to tell you. And here you see
what adjustments did you make?
Here, whenever I go on 2, I end up bringing my eyes off the target a little bit, and so I switched it to 1 on this one. And you see me really looking through because I was just thinking, don't foul, don't foul, don't foul, because I knew if I did, it was over.
Mm-hmm.
This was rough to watch back too, because I had earplugs in and stuff, and obviously I was excited. But the first time I watched this back when they posted the full fight and hearing the noises that he made, I got legitimately sick to my stomach.
Yeah, I mean, we see Stevie on the ground, obviously, in pain, and he's making some noises and stuff like that. As I was talking about before, Stevie closed his eyes on that second strike. It also looked like he, when he bit, down that mouth guard. I mean, I think regardless of who was there, that was probably one of the cleaner strikes we've seen in, the last 6 months. I mean, phenomenal strike on your behalf to be able to land that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Stevie down for upwards of 3+ minutes? Was it an actual record for an opponent being down that long in a power slap match?
That's what I was told. That's what, someone came up to me in the hotel afterward and was like, "Oh, did you hear you set the record for that?" And I was like,
"Oh, did we lose you?" Oh, I'm not sure if I lost you, my man. Hopefully we get him back here real quick. Cooper, do I still have you, my man? Seems like you have some technical difficulties. We watched him take care of business against Stevie Ray Payne. As he said before, he went from 2 to 1. Looks like Stevie changed how he received the slap between the first strike and the second. We know Cooper had a foul on the first one. We never know how much the accumulation of damage, obviously, on these fouls impact the match. I hope Cooper can get back on here. I don't know if he can still hear me. If you do, maybe log out of the studio, come back in, and I can add you back in. But impressive strike through and through on this particular one. As even Big even said, I don't know who's standing up there in that division for that strike itself. So we got you back, my man.
Yeah, so my phone overheated in it, so it kicked me off my internet connection. Sorry about that.
Oh, good, my man. Where are you at? That the phone's getting too hot.
I don't know what it is with my phone. I have a Pixel 6. I love everything about it, except it overheats a ton. And I'm sure part of that's on me because I'll be the first dumbass to take my phone into the sauna and stuff with me.
Okay.
And so it just overheats it. And I'm sure I fried it at this point.
Yeah. Gotcha, my man. You're sitting now 2-0. We know Stevie Payne now 0-2. Where do you think you go next? Anybody you want to call out? Anybody you want next to fight?
I just think I'm ready to. Oh no, I'm ready to make that jump.
No, we're still here, my man. I'm putting you front and center, so we get a nice social.
Oh, I got you. Appreciate it. No, I mean, I'm just trying to make that jump into the top 5, start to get looked at for some title considerations, maybe a coaching spot. I want to be, they have their eyes on a few people I see, and maybe I want to be a company guy. I'm always wearing the slap stuff, trying to put on for it. Love to be, what they're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we see the UFC and the WWE, have their partnership, Power Slap falling into that match. We know you do pro wrestling, big personality. I think are you still wanting to try to bring more of that personality to Power Slap? Because I don't think we've really seen the full character that you can play.
And it's one of those things where you can't really go when it's as much as you want to try to combine them and be like, yeah, let's bring a wrestling character to Power Slap. You try to bring a character to Power Slap, that shit's gonna get exposed real quickly.
You think
and
so?
It's happened with a few guys. I mean, it's happened with a few guys. They come in wanting to be Billy Badass, and then the first slap they eat, they're asleep on the floor, and it's like, you were real badass for all of 30 seconds. And so it's like, it's one of those things where when it comes to slap, I'm still going to try to be over the top. I still want to be entertaining. You want to bring that entertainment value to it.
Totally.
And definitely going to try to be the first one. I know they're bringing NXT to the Apex.
Yeah.
The Apex is kind of our home. If they ever want to give me a call, it's just one of those things. I got a few buddies that work for NXT.
Cool. 2-0 now. Guys like Nate Bernard got rushed up, through the ranks pretty fast. Guys like Austin Turpin as well. Do you think one more victory kind of solidifies you in that rank, especially if it's against a top 5-6 guy like you talked about? Do you think that could potentially put you in line for a potential number 1 contender match?
I think at a certain point it has to.
Mm-hmm.
You get guys, even Ellis, like Brian Ellis, one of his he got a real cool knockout, but he stepped on it. Mm-hmm. And that's not me trying to be any kind of way, but he's someone who shot up real quick. And I think he has one knockout, but he has a DQ win, and he has another DQ win, I think, and a DQ loss. I mean,
if Eric calls and Brian Ellis is the name, would you take that match? And how do you think you'd fare?
Any day of the week. I mean, my thing is I'll go with whoever, whenever they call. I just want to get up there and fight. It really doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah. What about a guy like James Stonier? I know he's very close to you in the rankings. Kind of different approach. He's going to be a much taller guy.
Oh yeah, I mean, you could tell in the clip Stevie's a couple inches taller than me too. It's like, you think there's definitely advantages to being the taller person, but I also think there's certain advantages to being able to swing from under someone, especially whenever you're trying to rock their jaw. You can set up. Look at the way Turpin slaps. Turpin squats and gets under everybody. It's all a form thing. It really just depends. You gotta I'll set up my bob to whatever height of the person I'm fighting. If they want to send me someone who's 6'7", I'll set it up and get ready to slap at someone at that height. They want to send me Hezbollah, I'll set the bob up at that and get it ready.
Awesome, man. Right now, what's kind of your balance in training between wrestling and slap? And are you just kind of doing both right now to see which one takes off, or do you plan on kind of focusing on one or the other in the future?
So wrestling was always my goal, growing up as a kid. It was one of those things where fighting's real cool, but there's videos of me at my second birthday where everything's WWE, and it's that's just always been my goal, always been going to shows, been watching it, spend hours and hours and doing that. But it's fighting's fun too. It's a whole new world, especially comparatively. It's I'm doing independent wrestling, so that's I'll drive 8 hours, get paid not the most, and have to turn around and drive back, so I'm not getting paid enough to get a hotel. And then for these fights, I'm doing one fight, but they're gonna fly me out and put me up in one of these super nice hotels in Vegas for days and pay me a good amount of money. So it's just kind of whatever wants to pop off, whatever wants to become the primary. If Power Slap wants to put it in my contract where, hey, I can't wrestle anymore, but they want to pay me real well. Yeah. I mean, I got a family to look at. We've got our first kid on the way, a little baby girl. So
congrats, man.
It's one of those things. I appreciate that. It's one of those things for me to where if they ever said I have to stop wrestling, cool, y'all are paying me well, y'all bring me in. It is what it is. But if wrestling wanted me to go, I mean, if they want to work it out with Power Slap, like you said, them and WWE under the same umbrella, perfect world, I'd get to have both.
Yeah. All right, man. Any active fighter on the WWE roster that you'd want to come into Power Slap and slap them, who would it be and why?
Ooh, do they have to be heavyweight, or you mean just absolutely anybody?
Absolutely anybody.
If I could get anybody to step up and do Power Slap, and it's honestly be someone who I think would be really good at it, is Otis. He doesn't really have too much of a neck, so I feel like his jaw would just be out of this world, and I feel like he'd be really cool to watch. And like, I don't know that I'd win that one, but he'd know he was in a fight. And that's kind of how I look at it.
Awesome, man. One last wrestling question for you. Growing up, like you said, at that second birthday, obviously a little bit too young, but a little bit older, 5-6-year-old Cooper Housley, who were you idolizing from the OG wrestlers of the time?
OG wrestlers at the time. It's really funny. It's the exact opposite of my body type and what I actually do in the ring and what I can do. I used to absolutely look up to like Jeff Hardy, Rob Van Dam, Rey Mysterio. Those were my guys. Eddie Guerrero. Those were probably like my top 4 growing up.
Awesome, man. What about the Hart brothers? I mean, we're from Canada. They're just over the mountains, a couple hours away. Did you, were you a Bret Hart fan, Owen Hart at all?
So I honestly, growing up, I wasn't too big of one. And that's only because growing up, I was born in 99. So they were gone by the time I really got into being able to know what wrestling was. And so it wasn't until later, 10, 20 years after they've already retired, that I ended up really finding out like, oh, who are these guys?
Gotcha, my man. Yeah. I mean, Bret Hart's probably a top 5 all-time wrestler, I think, at this point. So, or maybe that's just my Canadian bias.
No, don't get me wrong. Some of my favorite wrestlers even today. Like one of my top guys is Kenny Omega. He's not in WWE. He's over on the other side with AEW, but he's a Canadian who I think could go with just absolutely anybody.
Yeah. Awesome, my man. Appreciate you joining me, breaking it down. Always great to see you. Hopefully we'll see you back there in Power Slap live in Las Vegas or wherever it goes, international, real time soon, my man.
Oh, yes, sir. I appreciate you.
Take care, dude.
Yeah.